Hey everyone. Today's podcast is brought to you by Little Power Shop. They're a diesel repair and performance company. If you need any parts for your diesel pickup, give them a shout or visit their website, littlepowershop.com. Injectors, transmissions, gears for your front end, rear end, intakes, exhausts, whatever. You need to rebuild your engine, give them a shout. littlepowershop.com. These fellows will help you out. I've known these guys since they started the business. Salt of the earth. Just the best people. I mean, I can't say enough good things about them. Go to littlepowershop.com. Our guest today is one of my good friends, Ryan Gelinas. Gelinas. I can never say his last name right, but I think it's Gelinas. Ryan, either way, it doesn't matter. He's got a great last name. It's just hard to say. But he is, his company is R&R Brand Management, and they represent ATS Diesel Performance, Dynamite Diesel Products, Nitro Gear and Axle, No Limit Fabrication, and PPEI Tuning. And he's just an awesome dude. I've known him for, oh my God, a long time. He's one of my best friends in the diesel industry, and I think you'll enjoy our conversation. He always has some interesting things to talk about. And, well, enjoy.
I'm the one who says things.
Oh, shit. Hey.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, buddy.
All I'm hearing is, oh, shit.
Well, I had to, we were trying to use the laptop, but it didn't, I don't know, it's getting some weird feedback in it. So I switched to my phone, but I saw that, like, it picked up, but there was no sound coming through our headphones, so.
Nice. Just swearing. That's fine. That works.
I forgot to push a button.
I think I hear you, Pammy. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Just haven't seen you in 1,000 years.
I know. We're not allowed to have friends anymore, so.
Nobody is. It's so sad.
Normally we'd be getting ready to go to PRI right now, but.
I know.
What a good time.
Hey, wait.
Yeah.
I think we're just doing the podcast now.
Are we? Are you recording? I didn't know we started.
Yeah, I hit record. I just hit record, so it was going, so I didn't have to fuck it up later.
Okay, that's fair.
But we can just go from here.
Oh.
Yeah, sounds good.
Unless there was some secret stuff you want to talk about beforehand. And
No, not at all. Because I don't think you have a podcast in which you try to edit yourself or you have a certain demographic that you're shooting for.
No.
Risk of, offending anyone, etc. So,
No.
but they would just fucking rage and tip. So I just got done hanging all my Christmas lights, and this year I told myself I'm going to count and see how much I actually put up and give a guess. Just throw it out there.
Dude, wait, I have questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you one of those people that, like, outlines every single thing on your house?
So my entire roof is done. By
Oh
that,
my God.
not to edges, but like up and down, very Griswold style.
Yeah.
I built a Christmas wreath, arch over our driveway, like
Oh my
drive
God.
underneath it and stuff. And then we have got some pretty tall, mature leaves or trees that we do like really high lighting in and what have you. And then it's all synced to music and garbage. Basically,
Oh my God.
the neighbor that's facing my house fucking hates me.
I'm sure.
All of January. they don't get much sleep. I'm surprised there aren't light pollution laws. Since
You're
people
going to
decorate
find out
as
if there
much as they
is.
do. I am. So here's the thing, Pam. I can enter the city contest every other year, and I've always decorated for Christmas. My dad didn't decorate very much for Christmas. He did one year, and I was so stoked, and the next year is like meh. So like I've made it a point since I've owned a home, even apartments, to put lights up because I don't know, I just like it. And so the first year that we had our house in Washington, and I heard there was a contest, I'm like, I'll give it a try. And so it's just one of those things you just kind of keep going back to Lowe's or Walmart or Target, and you're like, I could probably put a few on this bushes and this and that and the other, and I started getting pretty handy with PVC. And at the end of the day, we ended up winning. That was like 6 years ago. Like, put you in the paper and give you like $200 or whatever from the
Nice.
bank. And but you can only enter every other year. And so 2 years after that, 4 years ago, entered again, crushed it.
What do you
wasn't
win?
even close. Wasn't even close. $200. You get to shake the bank manager's hand, and you're in the paper. You're probably also on some sort of like list of crazy people, like people who also amass too many guns type of thing. But
John.
red flag law, that type of thing. And then so this year we're eligible again to compete. So we're decided to go all out.
So I have just a couple more questions before I can give my answer.
Yes.
How many fuses have you blown?
So I do all LED, and if you look on the front of the package, you can hook up to like 77 strands of like 100 count together. So like you can put an obscene amount. I do, when it rains, struggle with GFIs popping because I have probably 50 or 60 extension cords running around, like hooked into each other, then going somewhere else, then going into a splitter and going somewhere else, and
You got to just make sure you have good house insurance and get rid of those GFIs.
There you go. I do hate those things.
They're the worst.
I literally have sat there and just leaned on the reset button for like 5 minutes straight while it was storming, raining. I'm like, if I get electrocuted, I get electrocuted.
Oh,
so,
God.
The worst part about those is when they blow, but you don't know that there's one somewhere. So you lose electric, and you find out in this room there's one outlet that you never use, and it's blowing the whole circuit. So I stepped away for a second, so maybe I missed this crucial piece of information before we give this guess. How many years have you been amassing this? Is this all new stuff, or do you just amass your Christmas?
That is the tragedy of the whole obsession, is that apart from a few things, you replace things every other year at least.
Really?
Yeah. So like, I buy all LED thinking, these will never go out. That just simply is not the case. Like, I don't know if our winters are just crappy, or it's just or it's just all the garbage from China, that type of thing. But like, once you kind of go LED, you can't be like, well, I'm just going to buy the cheaper incandescents now. They don't look the same.
No.
You know what I mean? So you'd have to just burn everything and start all over. So, but to, in a roundabout way, answer your question, about 6 or 7 years of amassing things. But, every year we just go a little bit bigger, especially the years that we're going to, compete in the little contest. I could show you what I did last year. I could text it to you, but I feel like that would just be kind of a pain. I don't know. Here, let me put you on speaker. I'm going to text it to you.
Yeah, because we're using my other phone, so we can look on the one that we were texting on. We can ooh and ah over your lights.
Your boys must love this.
And they help too, and so does Carrie. They help a ton. Like, they usually do all the bushes and kind of the here's a knot for you, Russ situation, and that kind of a thing.
You mean you're not putting them on the roof?
No. Carrie won't even go up like 3 rungs on the ladder to like hand me something. She's like, I'm scared of heights.
How long does this whole process take?
It just kind of depends. We had 4 really good days of weather here recently, and all right, video on the way. I don't want that one.
I feel like now, when we give a guess, we might be cheating.
I don't think it's cheating.
After seeing it, okay.
It's a year ago is the problem. I should have sent you a current one. If I'd known I'd be chatting about this. Oh, please.
I'm just holding my phone, just trying to will it to vibrate. Like, come on. So do you have like cool processor things that make the lights change and go with, you said it goes with the music and stuff?
It does. So you want to hear something super lame? Let's see here. I think it's further back here. I just had this thing called a Mr. Christmas. It has 6 outlets and like a speaker. So like when you go by my house, it doesn't say tune into 89.9 or something like that. I'm just blasting Christmas music across the street.
Well, we have a little taste of that this year. We live by the fairgrounds, and this year they're having one of those drive-through Christmas light things.
Okay.
And over the loudspeaker of the fairs, they're blasting Christmas music for like 6 hours every night.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It is so
I love
loud.
Well, you walk outside, so the fairgrounds is probably half mile away, maybe, if even. But all you can hear outside, like you can't hear it in the house, so it's not that like loud. But if you walk outside, it's just like this tinny Christmas music playing out of like some weird horror movie. It's just.
Are you guys having some audio problems there? I'm getting a lot of static.
Oh.
I'm not. I could hear it feeding back a little bit.
Almost sounds like a loose connection. Oh, there we go. Nope. It's bad again.
Huh. That's. Oh, I was holding my phone near the mic. I'm not hearing it, but I could hear Pam feed. Holy shit! I'm looking at your video. You still there, bud? Did we lose you? Hello. Good evening. You there, bud?
I am here. That sounds much better.
You disappeared for a second and then came back. I'm not sure what was going on there.
That's so weird. It just kind of sounded like radio static. And it was kind of coming in and out, almost like feedback was getting closer and further from the speaker or something. I don't know.
My gosh, this video is the best.
So that is last year when I didn't give a shit. So this year, my reputation's up.
You have a lot to live up to there.
Exactly. I mean, there's a lot of trees we didn't do that year. We didn't do any arches over the. So normally what I do is I grab 3 10-foot sections of PVC. I join them together, wrap it in lights, throw some rebar in the ground, and Bob's your uncle. You've got a 30-foot arch over your whatever 20-foot wide, 30-foot wide, whatever driveway. And I would usually do like 4 or 5 of those, so it's like a little archway up. This year I did this shenanigans where I made this double layered thing and strung 2,000 green lights onto it and put a big bow on it, so it looks like there's like a Christmas wreath going over the driveway. So
nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
So all right. So and what I need to know is, what are we guessing? Are we guessing strands, or do we guess lights, or how does that work?
Many lights, right?
How many individual light bulbs do you think are there? Yeah. That's usually so. There's this show that's full of losers called the Great Christmas Light Fight. That
John Piper and I've watched that.
I watched it.
Yeah, absolutely. And basically, like, everybody on it is a serial killer.
I was just going to say, it's always the saddest things, too. It's like an old couple that lost their kid when they were 3 or something.
Right,
and, like,
but they have the creepiest doll collection in the world.
Yeah.
It's super awful.
Yeah.
You're like, this is cool, but also kind of weird.
But they always, on the mega whatever, they always say, how many lights do you have up? They seem to kind of judge size by the amount of bulbage is there.
All right.
But yeah.
So you said you have. I just got a clue because you said you had 2,000 bulbs over the driveway in your arch thing.
On the arch, but I will also tell you this: the roof has
the roof.
The roof. I did the dormer peaks as well this year. In addition, I think last year I had something like 5,000 bulbs on the roof, so that's gone up a little bit as well.
I am ready to place my wager.
Okay.
I'm going to say you have 40,000 lights.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a pretty good guess.
All right. So as you said, that was a pretty good guess.
Oh, that's.
Are we going Price is Right's rule? Like whoever's the closest without going over?
Yeah, I think that works good. I'm fine for that.
Okay. So this would be exactly the same as me guessing how many gallons of rocket fuel it takes to get to the moon. Like, I can't even begin to do the math in my head to figure it out. I'm going to say 62,000.
Wow, that's actually a really good guess. It's 65,350.
Oh my god!
Yes. God.
Here's the dumb thing. Here's how you know I'm bad with money. is that a 100 count strand of those C9s that are on the roof are like $30.
Oh my God.
Those, I will say, those don't go out. Those for the most part last. I maybe lose 1 or 2 strands of those a year, and they're these forever lit things from GE, so you literally can just unscrew a bulb and screw one back in. I hate getting on the roof. Like when I was a kid, I could scamper up roofs. I would climb up trees, like all kinds of shit. And I don't know what's going on now. I'm not scared of heights, but like I get vertigo, like crazy now. Like legs shake. Sometimes I feel a little dizzy. I don't know. And then I obsess about falling off the roof at night when I'm trying to fall asleep, among other anxiety-ridden things that I'm pretty sure all of us have these days.
Same shit has happened to me. I used to ladders and up and down stuff, and I went to hang a light up on the side of my shop. I'm on like a 20-foot extension ladder. I get 3/4 of the way up, and I'm like, same thing, like, oh shit, oh no, I'm gonna get back down. It used to be not a big deal. I don't know what happens.
I can't.
Go ahead, Pam. Sorry.
I can't be scared of ladders. I won't get paid.
No, that's true. That's true. Now, you can be jealous of my 50-foot painter's pole. That's how I get all the lights in the tall trees.
So
Things are expensive.
Yes.
Do you just leave them up, or do you take them down?
No, yank them all down. Yeah. I know.
When in like
they
May?
have this
Seriously.
February-ish, somewhere in there. Basically, winters here are terrible, but sometimes you get like a glorious day in January. So if that rolls in, for sure. But I kind of wait till the weather turns. I'll just have them shut off, or I'll take like all the goofy yard stuff back inside, that type of thing, and then get the lights out of the trees and off the roof later. So
there's no need to rush it.
So how long do you spend thinking about this? Like, you've obviously had a plan in your head, laying this whole thing out for months.
Well, I mean, some of it's just kind of riffing. You know what I mean? Kind of like you look at something or like you just start hanging lights, right? Like the roof grid that I decided to do. That just kind of popped in my head. Do you, like every other person under this ridiculous quarantine shenanigans, drink heavily at night and kind of go to imagination land? Because as soon as we start getting close to Christmas, some of it is light concentric. Like my wife, she gets up a little bit before I do, get kids ready and all that kind of stuff, and she's a teacher, and she'll sometimes in the morning see like 40 Post-it notes all over the place, very beautiful mind style, with like, how many extension cords am I going to need to pull this off? Rough budget, like, can I do this with cash without her knowing, that type of thing. But sometimes the coffee table will be littered. I should get rid of the evidence, but I know I'll forget it in the morning.
Right.
So.
But if you win, sweet $200 into your pocket.
$200.
200 billies right in your pocket.
That's not even going to cover your electric bill.
Yeah, probably not.
Although, seeing as you went to LED, it's probably cut down.
It's not bad. I say we probably go up $60, $65 a month.
It's definitely worth it, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, the incandescents. Well, the big thing with the incandescents, you can't strand them together. 5. I think you can put 5 together with a box. It's probably horse shit. It's probably just kind of like some sort of you'll start a fire if you do 6, that type of thing. So
it's not advised.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what's hilarious about this? Earlier when I came home, Pam says, "So did you have like a list of things you want to talk about?"
There's that goofy static thing again. Like it's like the sound dropped out.
Huh.
I don't know if you guys can hear me or not.
Yeah, I can hear you.
It's like all white noise.
That's weird. We don't hear it.
I don't hear it at all. You sound perfectly fine. Are you still hearing it?
Oh, and now he's gone again.
Oh, I think it's gone.
All right, let me move. I moved the phone. I wonder if there's something wrong with that cord.
Maybe.
Can you hear us now, buddy?
It's perfect. It's crystal.
I'm wondering if the little 3.5 thing that's hooked to the phone, the cord is bad or something. I was having trouble with it. I thought it was the laptop earlier, but it might be that stupid cord.
Ah, gotcha.
Right. Gonna have to get some. The budget's blown for the podcast now. We're going to buy more cords.
Hey, if I win this year, I'll donate my winnings to your podcast equipment.
You'll just get one day. I'll just get a little cord in the mail, like a little $2.99 cord.
Exactly.
But anyways, when I came home, Pam's like, "Do you have a list of things that you want to talk about on the podcast with Ryan, or you guys are going to talk about or whatever?" And I'm like, "Nah, we'll probably just talk about some random shit." And if I was gonna make a list, Christmas tree lights would have made it on there. Even
It would not have been on there.
it wouldn't
Here's
have
the
been in
thing.
the top 100.
This takes me like building that arch. It's like, hey, it's a nice Saturday or something like that. And you do it. Missouri weather's kind of unpredictable and crappy, so you just kind of shoot for good weekend days here and there. I still am a working Joe, so it gets dark here around 5. So by the time I really need to be away from my computer, it's just kind of unfeasible to do it. So weekends are really the only time you can do it. And we got this 4-day straight stint of like 60 to 55 degree weather, like no wind, very, very sunny from like Thanksgiving until today. So it was just go time. You know what I mean? And I just got it done. Like I literally had to push calling you guys because I promised Carrie I'd go get her Christmas trees tonight. And because she wanted to finish decorating inside. And I literally plugged in the last plugs, took a shower, called you guys. And so it's just on my mind. You know what I mean? Like it's just.
So when did they do the judging?
That's the goofy thing. They do it like you enter the contest and then all of a sudden they're just like, hey, you won. You're like, oh, sweet. When did you stop by?
Yeah. Like, did I even have them plugged in?
Yeah, it's not some big pomp and circumstance thing. And they don't even give you like some random week that they might be out there. They just like show up, I guess, or drive by. I don't know. So, but it's
So when you win,
whatever.
do they like roll up with Mariah Carey in a limo and she gets out and gives you like a certificate or something? Oh,
unfortunately, and it's not even like a big novelty check. It's like 2 $100 bills inside of a Christmas card.
Well, that's good. At least it's you don't have to pay taxes on your winnings.
right.
It's cash.
It's cash. I will say this is actually a really rad bank. It's just our like local city bank type of thing. Like they're not a chain. They've got like 4 or 5 branches just here downtown. The families lived here forever, that type of thing. But on Christmas Eve, I believe, it's one of these nights, and we've caught it every night. The bank president and a bunch of like management, which it's all brothers and uncles and stuff like that, they go to all the bars around Washington and they buy everybody a drink, like whatever you want, and they hand out their like yearly calendars and stuff like that. But we always make sure we're like, all right, we know when that is. We're like, it's this Friday, we're going to dinner at the Old Dutch, and then they all show up and hand out all that stuff, which is cool. Which reminded me, for this podcast, I was like, that's very John Anderson, because I remember you had taught me the trick of, if you want to make friends fast, just go up and be like, hey, everybody on the rail, I got your next drink, that type of thing. It's going to cost you $45 to $65 depending on what these guys are drinking. I mean, you're probably buying some guy a Coors Light, you know what I mean? Right. And it's a great like icebreaker. And then Jack Daniels just stole that. You see their commercial? Like some guy buys everybody a drink or whatever, and he's like, I've always wanted to do that. It's like this weird, I've always wanted to do that Jack Daniels thing that they got going on. I'm like, man, Anderson really should have wrote like some sort of book or put a video out or some sort of, hey, this is my play.
He did. It's called Smooth Moves by John Anderson.
Ooh, I like it.
That's how he snagged me. I mean,
it's in pre-production.
Yeah.
It's going to be a mini-series too.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, it's amazing. So what's weird about that is I stole that from somebody else. So there was a guy in town here, and way back in the 80s when the oil boom was booming, this dude just made like bank and just did all sorts of crazy, ridiculous shit. Well, his son is just a little bit younger than me, and we would get together and drink, and that was always those guys' move. Him and his dad, they'd go into a bar, buy everybody in the bar a beer. And for the longest time, all of us were like, wow, that's crazy, must be nice to just blow money like that, And one night I'm all beamed up in a bar, and I bought everybody in the bar a beer, and I got the slip, and it's like you said, $60, and I'm like, wait, what? I could have been doing this my entire life,
right?
Because then everybody's like, hey, buddy, like it's the best move in the world.
Exactly. Well, and the thing is like even you would admit, like, what was your view of that guy buying everybody a drink? He was doing well. He was generous. So these are all nice platitudes for
And
social interaction. Like it's all good shit. There's not one guy who's like, fuck that guy. Like,
I'm not drinking this
totally,
beer.
yeah, totally flaunting his money. They're like, hell yeah, I'll take a free drink.
This guy balls so hard, and I want to go thank him for buying me this Coors Light.
Exactly.
Oh, I miss going to bars.
So I would imagine our lockdowns are very different. We just finally got a chin diaper mandate a week ago for our county, and our county is like full of like wineries and breweries and distilleries, and it's wonderful. It's Missouri wine country, whatever you want to call it. Just outside St. Louis, and then just north of us in St. Charles County, they also don't have a mask mandate, no ridiculous dining deals. You basically didn't even know it was happening.
Mm-hmm.
So like whenever they said you couldn't have sports in St. Louis, like all the big schools were like, okay, we'll go 3 miles this way, and you guys can go pound sand. so everything was, because the governor just wouldn't do it. Like Parsons is about as conservative as they come. He got reelected this year. He even tweeted out on Thanksgiving, he's like, the government has no business going to your front door, so we have no business telling you how many people you can have in your home.
Sweet.
And I was like, okay, thank you, Mike. This is why you got voted back in again. Missourians like that type of thinking. And so anyway, long story short, apart from my professional career of not being able to go travel as much, canceled events, SEMA, obviously you mentioned PRI when we first started, not having PRI this year, which is one of my favorites. I don't think you would have noticed, except for a handful of pieces of plexiglass and a dot on the floor here and there, that there anything was happening. Like certain governors just treated it differently, and certain county commissioners and mayors and treated it differently. So I think, and I did do quite a bit of traveling through the pandemic. I visited Lenny a handful of times, just because like it's Lenny, he gets bored and he just wants like somebody to come up to go do cool shit with, which I love that about Lenny.
Lenny's always doing cool shit. His Instagram is one of my favorite things in the world.
Oh, it's wonderful. He's one of my favorite people on the planet. But like sometimes you can tell, like he's just like, I want to have Gelinas come up here. And I remember the last time I went up there, he said, hey, can you come up next week? And I'm like, yeah, I've got nothing planned, but I imagine plane tickets will probably be expensive. He's like, don't worry about it. And like I looked at plane tickets, and I don't want to divulge how much Lenny paid because I'm pretty sure his daughter didn't tell him about it. But it was a lot. Like it was 4 or 5 times what you normally pay for a plane ticket. And you know what the biggest shit of that was? Is that so I started a tangent off on this, but I'll get back to I have the traveling thing on that exact trip up there. So I fly Delta, and like I don't fly Delta like Jesse Rohr flies Delta, which I know I'm using name dropping a lot on your podcast. People are like, who the fuck is Lenny and Jesse Rohr?
I was gonna say we probably had to tell everybody who you are to start with.
We'll get to this in a minute, okay? This is very Tarantino of us, or Guy Ritchie. Like we're starting at the end, we'll work our way back to the beginning.
Right. It'll all make sense.
Yeah, it'll all make sense in a minute. But let me tell you why I love and hate Delta all in the same sentence. So I don't have very good status. I have status enough to where they'll pull me out of the peasant section and get me like to where I can smell first class and I can see the better shit that they're getting. And they give me free drinks, which that's usually the reason why I'm taking that next step. But I'm thinking like, flights haven't changed that much. They're not selling the middle seats where all the poor people have to fly. And then first class should be first class. There's fucking room everywhere. You know what I mean? Like these are old Barca loungers, and we have to wear a mask anyway. So I'm looking at the upgrade list, because every hardened traveler, you just sit there on the seat map and the upgrade list if you're close to the top, and you're just pounding refresh, just waiting for the chick at the front counter to go, Mr. Gelinas, can you please approach the kiosk? And I'm number 1, and I'm seeing like 6 seats available in first class, and I'm like, fuck yes. It's like, I'm going to get out of this Delta Comfort. I'm going to sit with the rich people. Like, you get real glass, you get real silverware. It was a long flight. It was to Salt Lake and then Salt Lake up. So it was like a 3.5 hour flight, because Missouri to there is like pushing against the jet stream, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, long story short, they're going in the boarding thing, and I was like, excuse me, miss, I don't know if you noticed that GEL/R at the top of the list there on the Delta monitor. That's me. And I see there's all these empty seats, and you haven't asked for me yet. I was like, I'm going to be this guy. They're like, yeah, we can only fill first class to like 40% capacity, so go fuck yourself. I was like, what? It was going to be the first time I ever just got the bump, that type of thing. It's always been a bump to like Comfort Plus, or I'm just vain and I pay for first class just to look like I'm bougier than I actually am, because usually the upgrades are minimal, like $70 or whatever, that type of thing. But anyway, sorry.
I like people that upgrade to first class and then just sleep. Every time in first class, there's dudes that don't do anything. They don't eat, they don't drink, they just sleep.
You just take a nap.
Dude.
Because they have more room to sleep.
That could be, I guess.
There was a comedian I was listening to one time, and I forget who it was. It was like Louis C.K. or somebody who's been cancel cultured out of my life of all time. But he said something to the fact about when you get bumped to first class, and then the people who actually bought a first class ticket know you're a bump.
Yeah.
They're like, you don't belong here. Exactly.
You don't smell like you belong.
Right.
Exactly. That looks like a Gildan/Hanes tee.
No monograms.
No monograms, exactly. It's like get in the back with the peasants and their chickens, type of thing.
Right.
Like, shouldn't you be riding a Greyhound bus? But yeah, no, travel is fun. But yeah, should we rewind and talk about
You?
who I is? Yeah, because I'm just talking guys like I just fucking called you guys on a Sunday night just to chat. You know what I mean?
That's basically what's happened. It's perfect. I wish we had recordings of all our conversations. I feel like we've done.
They're genuinely pretty good.
We've done a decade of podcasts we didn't record.
I still think the one time, if you have some longtime listeners of the podcast, I don't know if it's changed names or ways of actually sourcing it from your old one, but that was one of my favorite podcasts I've ever done when I showed up in that white convertible Camaro
on Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah, on Valentine's Day, and we downed a bottle of private stock right before we did the podcast, and I think it was the first time meeting Piper, that poor child. Hopefully she doesn't think ill of me. And I remember Pam would just, we were trying to keep the swear words kind of low, but every now and again, like almost every 7 minutes or so, she just lean into the mic and go, stop. And just lean back. That was like her contribution to whatever ridiculous story we were going through. It was fantastic.
I've finally gotten over that.
Well,
have you? That was one of my favorite ones of all time. And I'm not a narcissist. I probably am a narcissist. I mean, I do have mirrors in my home, but I have listened to that more than one time. Just kind of like nostalgia, go back, like, oh my gosh, what a great trip that was. It was so much fun.
I probably have it saved on some thumb drive someplace somewhere.
Yeah.
But that podcast is no longer with us anymore. That one, I don't think. No, I know.
Fair enough.
I know it's not, because I had this stupid idea to do. I wanted to do a podcast, but I thought for some reason I should do one about kind of work stuff. And guess what? I don't want to talk about work stuff all day and then all night. And then like right now, it's be like, so, you got any new parts coming out you'd like to talk about? And then you're like, yeah. And you give me a commercial. And then at the end of it, you're like, okay, cool.
Cool.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Well, and the thing is I do another podcast. It's not my podcast, but I've been on it several times. That is very work related. And you know what's
a lot.
I know, right? I'm crushing it right now. You know how many lights I have on my house? Anyway.
I do now.
But no, it is a work-driven one. But it's crazy how many people listen to it, because I mentioned I travel. I do a lot of trade shows where I'm in, the 10x10 easy up and 6-foot table talking to people about their vehicles, and they're like, "Yeah, I've been thinking about re-gearing my vehicle, and I've heard you on the podcast." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Okay." It's like, it translates. I love it. So I don't know. I think people in general, business, entertainment, whatever, we're also hungry for content because we get it so quickly. Mm-hmm. Like, I have so many streaming services. Do you know how annoying it is when I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to watch Die Hard, and then I go through like 19, like Hulu, your cable providers on demand. So this literally happened the other day. I did find it on HBO Max. So if anybody wants to watch Die Hard 1 and 2, they are on HBO Max. but that would be a great business, is like, something that auto searched all the on-demand streaming platforms, and you just entered whatever the shit you wanted to actually see, and it just like, it's on Netflix for free right now because I'm paying $12.99 for that shit. I don't want to pay $4 or whatever it is to just like rent it on Amazon Prime, but I have all these services.
All right,
so I think podcast falls into that, of just people just constantly want a flourish of, I need to be entertained, that type of thing. So
there is a thing that already does this, and we have Comcast, and you talk into your microphone, which I'm showing my age a little bit, but
talking to your remote.
I'm sorry, the remote. And you're like, I want to watch Die Hard. And then it pops up and it says, it's free on HBO, or you can buy it. And that's the other one that happens to us all the time. I'll tell Piper about a movie like, hey, this is really funny. So we search it out. You can buy it for $24.95 or whatever it is. And then I look at her and I'm like, it's not that good.
No.
We're not. If it was free, I'd show it to you, but it's not that good.
Exactly. So yeah, Princess Bride is okay.
Yeah.
We'll skip it for now. No, I mean, like, but does that search, like, it'll tell you if it's live or on Comcast, but does it tell you on your streaming services like Netflix,
Well,
Hulu,
no.
Yeah.
It only does on
Crackle, all of it, Vudu,
it
Prime
just does
Video?
It doesn't
Netflix
tell
and
you like
Prime.
Amazon Prime or anything like that.
I think
Okay.
it does Prime. It doesn't matter. I'm going to have to check it
My
out.
Roku should do that. It's ridiculous. They have all that stuff on there.
Right.
Like,
I
why
was
can't you just search it?
Just going
Right.
to say that Roku ought to come up with some sort of app or voice.
I know.
thing. You
Our
could just-
neighbors keep telling us about the Roku channel or the
TV.
Roku app thing, It's
Yeah.
called Roku TV or Roku channel or something like that.
Is it like live TV, like Hulu does, type of thing?
I don't know. We haven't checked it out at all.
I'm such a douchebag.
Maybe they have
that
some kind of search
I have a
like that.
subscription to Hulu, Roku, YouTube TV, and there's like 6 of them that probably all do the exact same thing.
Shit.
Because
I am
want
so glad you just said that you have a subscription to YouTube TV, because I was about to rip on that so hard for like the next 10 minutes. Like, what idiot skips the ads? Who gives a shit? Nobody's buying your shit, YouTube. Like, I'm gonna bypass that joke there, John.
Yeah.
No, it's fine.
Go right by there.
Well, the only reason I have all these, and it's one of those ones where it pops up on my card thing every month, and I'm like, oh, I've got to cancel that the next time I'm near a phone that I'm having in my hand. But I was trying to get Yellowstone at camp, and you have to fucking do some, like, move the stones and align them with the orbit of the Earth to get that on a streaming service. And I just started, I thought I could get it on YouTube, and I think it was YouTube TV I finally got it.
Paramount.
But you had to buy YouTube. I don't know. There's a whole fucking
Well, if you have TV service of any kind, right? Comcast, YouTube TV, Hulu TV, you name it. You actually get channels, CNN, whatever, all that garbage. You should be able to get whoever streaming service that does that. So, like on the Roku, you can download the Paramount app, and then you enter in your credentials to, like, for me, it's Uverse or DirecTV, whatever you got. And then Bob's Your Uncle, you can stream, like, whatever. So, yeah. I don't know. Why are we talking about
Maybe
this?
we should all not watch so much TV.
Because we're helping you with your pitch. Because I feel like in a few months, one night we're going to be sitting here and we're going to be like, Sharks, how would you like to know
How to
what
find
channel
Die Hard.
any movies on at any time?
Just stick to the Die Hard part.
Right.
Let's say
Sharks,
you
are
wanna
you also
watch-
bad with money and have 47 streaming services?
But you just fucking want to watch Die Hard?
You know what's hilarious too is I have the DVD, like, and I had thought about just throwing it in there, but I'm like, it's not HD. This is like
Well,
old.
you have to
It's
get
like
up.
It's probably in 4:3, and I'll have to look for it. Like, I'm pretty sure I knew where it was, and so I just sat on that couch getting fatter, trying to find Die Hard for like 19 minutes. It was awful.
It is amazing if you find like an old TV somewhere. I went into like a gas station or something about a month ago, and they had like an old like tube TV sitting on top of something that I don't even know what was on, and you're looking at it, you're like, who watched that piece of shit? It was like watching TV through the snow or something. Like, it was just disgusting. It's amazing how awesome like 4K is, or
Or like if you watch a rewind of, say, a sporting event that happened like in your lifetime or in your estimation not that long ago, say like Tom Brady winning his first Super Bowl in like 2001 or 2 or whatever it was, and you see the video of it even on your nice TV, you're like, what did they record that with, a potato? Like it's just awful. Like it's all grainy and shitty, and it's like Tom Brady looks like a troll.
When they were showing the Tyson fights from the early 2000s last night, it's like, I don't remember it looking that bad.
Oh, so bad.
But we had nothing to compare, so I guess.
Yeah. Did you watch Tyson fight last night?
So I spent good money on an ugly Christmas sweater party. Oh. I don't know if you can tell. I'm a fan of Christmas. So anyway, long story short, it's for charity. It's for our pregnancy assistance center. Like the ladies who decide to keep their kid or put it up for adoption. It's for buying toys for the kid, that type of thing. So, and it's been organized by like a high school buddy of mine for the last several years. So I think it's cool to see people who aren't like 1,000 years old start charity. So we've been going to it for a long time. $50, all you can drink, all you can eat, 50/50s, all this kind of junk. And he bought the Tyson fight. Well, this full circle to fucking Roku. Like he had bought it through Apple TV or some garbage that we couldn't connect to the wireless and already paid for it. So it ended up never playing. And all I heard was basically 2 elderly men tied at being bad at boxing. But the YouTube videos like leading up to it, like all the stuff they were pushing out on social, like Tyson got abs again, and like that guy used to be fat as fuck. Like
he lost 100 pounds.
Holy cow! It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I don't know what I expected out of it. But I did see that on like clips after the fact that they had a lot of like concerts in between and things like that, other education. So
that was
and then fucking
painful.
Snoop Dogg was doing commentary.
Yep.
Which was
Snoop Dogg was the commentator.
Off-putting.
True story, not a joke.
Do you know how like when you watch UFC and Joe Rogan's not commentating, it feels weird?
It's awful. Yeah, it's unwatchable.
This was like completely opposite the other way. You're like, wait, Snoop Dogg, he doesn't sound like he knows anything about boxing, but I like this.
Okay, I love it. Okay, I can dig.
Yeah.
Well, and actually, they were like a lot faster than we thought they were going to be. They came out looking a lot younger than we expected.
I thought it was pretty decent for 2 50-some-year-old men out there throwing hands. It actually wasn't too bad.
Okay. I mean, if it was entertaining, it's entertaining.
Yeah.
I saw some knockout of
Jake Paul, son. That YouTube dork is a killer. Who knew?
Yeah, that was impressive.
and then, do you remember watching that guy's YouTube videos from like 5 years ago or so? The biggest douche in the world. Turns out, if you're going to be the biggest douche in the world, you're going to have to learn how to fight. And that son of a bitch can fight.
No, that was an impressive knockout. Man, I used to be way bigger into boxing, like when Klitschko was huge, and Tony.
I feel like UFC, mixed martial arts, has just ruined boxing.
Yeah,
it probably has.
It's so boring. Like the hugging is a little too much.
Yeah, because normally if they went in for a hug like that in UFC, somebody would get flopped to the ground or something would happen.
Just get a knee in the chin.
Right. But the thing is so like my wife hates UFC, and so not to be homophobic, she's like, how can you watch this stuff? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, it's gay. I'm like, it's not gay. He's like, there's 2 men with no shirts on, and they're just rolling around on the ground the entire time. Because like, you don't see that much stand-up. Everybody takes it to no, he's trying to get him in a Kamara or all this shit you and I can't do. And but yeah, I mean, her objective reality.
What does she feel about?
Or subjective?
Okay,
I'm
but
sorry.
I agree
subjective
with her.
reality of what she's watching. She's like, this is clearly homoerotic pornography.
I agree with her if it's WWE. Okay, then yes, that is my stance on that.
What does she feel about the women that fight though? Because I've heard this argument before, and they're like, that's gay. Why would you want to watch these 2 dudes? And then in the same breath, they'll be like, those women are so brave.
I would weigh in on my wife's opinion on that, but she'd kill me. So she's very conservative.
She's
so
not
I
a
don't
fan
think
of that?
she's not the oh so brave kind of a thing. Yeah, no, I don't
She's
know.
like,
I don't even know if she's even seen two women fight. So
women should
she
be
doesn't
making.
even like it when the gal that does the ESPN baseball, Espinoza, I think is her name, does the commentary. She's like, ugh, I can't stand her. I'm like, why? It's like, did she play baseball? I'm like, no. I was like, why isn't Kurt Schilling in there? I'm like, fair point, honey. Love you.
So to paraphrase her feelings on this, women should be making ham sandwiches, not knuckle sandwiches.
Sure. Well put. There you go.
I can't get over the women football commentator people on the sidelines. Those are the ones that take me completely out of it. I think there's only one of them that's like good.
I like the gal that does the pre-show. That's like the doctor.
Like the
Like,
dark,
she's
like
like-
dark hair chick.
No, she's a doctor.
Ah.
Like she does all the injury stuff. Like, oh, this guy's got this ACL sprain, whatever. I'm like, women do medicine. I can believe this, that type of thing. But the sideline one, I kind of agree with you. It takes me out a little bit.
If they cut to somebody that looked like a kind of a tomboy on the sidelines, I'd be like, oh, this chick probably is into football. But it's
I
always
know they
like
always put a 10.
Yeah, like some model. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Right. So I got Tom Brady's number. Oh, this is so sexist. Pam, you should say something. This is ridiculous.
I'm just letting you hang yourself.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm not running for office anytime soon. See what these bastards have to go through.
Right?
I always think about this.
It wouldn't
podcast.
get counted fairly anyway.
Exactly. I was convinced I was going to run for mayor of my town. This has been like my 10-year plan, right? So
Really?
like, no, absolutely, because
Oh
it's
my
a
God.
small enough town where I'm like, I could be mayor. Fuck it, right?
Hell yeah.
Have you seen Back to the Future? I mean, come on.
Are you Goldie Wilson?
Exactly. I could totally be Goldie Wilson. So, anyway, Maya, that sounds pretty good. So, because I've been trying to convince, because there's all these little things that young people can get into in our town. Like, we've got the local country club is cheap enough to get into, and all the judges and everybody's in there and that kind of a thing. So we joined, and we're starting to kind of meet all the people who politic. I was a political science major in college, so I've always been kind of interested in it. But boy, these days it's a fucking shit show. So I've kind of like shelved that for all of time until the world rights itself. So who knows when that'll happen. But yeah, that was like totally my goal. Is like, I'm gonna become mayor of this town. I love this town. So,
I
but
think you should do it, man. I'd love to have you on after the next election as the mayor of your town.
mayor of Washington. Well, it's the mayor right now. It's not like one of these like farce towns where like two beavers and a golden retriever ran for mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm sure you've seen. I think Pennsylvania has one of those. Don't they have like an animal mayor in one of your towns? Whatever.
I'm not sure.
But yeah, I mean, this last election cycle, there was legitimately a town that had like 3 Labradors, a cat, and like a ferret running for mayor because like they just don't give about that stuff. But here it's like the local artist's wife, that type of thing. So it's not like some triple MBA CEO from Harvard that came from California and settled here and
It's just
like
a person.
50 or 60. It's just like, I do this because I do this, that type of thing. And that's the way a lot of our local municipal politicians are. They've just kind of done it for years. It's one of the last names you know around town. Maybe it's the owner of the shoe store or whatever. People just kind of do the politics type of thing.
How big
So
is your
it
town?
felt accessible. It says there's 13,000 people in said town. I mean, we have like a Target shit,
Nice.
like a handful of
Dude,
chains.
I'm
We're getting
so
a Planet
jealous.
Fitness, basically crushing it. But I would say the amount of we have the hospital of the county area. I would say that within the city limits and the people who use our town, there's probably about 40 or 50,000 people. So it's kind of like this little concentrated bubble of like a nice downtown and some track homes and your grocery stores and big box retailers, that type of thing. But we're not so big that we've got an Olive Garden, so it's still kind of a homey feel.
We're very excited. Not only do we have in our little town, there's only
2 stoplights.
Well, there's how many people in Smethport? It's like a few thousand, 3,000-4,000. But for the first time ever, I mean, we got a Dollar General a few years ago, which is pretty fucking exciting.
That's pretty crazy.
I barely go there, but we have one. But we are actually getting the first ever convenience mart 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's almost as close to us as the fairgrounds is.
Yep.
So we're pretty excited. We can go in and get
Spit
some
distance.
gas. Like, there's nowhere
Love
in
it.
town to buy diesel fuel.
You meant beer.
There never used to be.
Right.
Like, if you didn't have beer after 5 o'clock, if you didn't already have it,
Yeah.
you're fucked.
Yep.
Like, you're driving
Well,
somewhere else.
Question, real quick. Doesn't PA have these goofy laws where you can't get cold beer apart from buying a 6-pack at a bar, and you got to go to a state store to get cold beer and liquor, and all these like weird, antiquated Bible Belt stuff up in the north for no reason?
Yep.
Okay.
Everything here is, oh shit, what was the movie? There Can Be Only One. You had to cut the head off of the other guy. Highlander. So the alcohol system is set up in Highlander rules here. So there's only a certain amount of liquor licenses for your community, and it's somehow tied into how many churches there is. Some real weird pilgrim shit that they made some rules way back in the day. So we have bars that are going out of business, and they're selling their liquor licenses to these Unimart, like little mini mart things. And that's it. Like, there can never be another bar again.
Yeah.
It's bananas.
So Texas has a similar thing where there's only so many issued, and that's actually really big business. There's a lady that revitalized Austin like downtown Austin. She owns like all the bars on like the coolest hipster place to go, and it's because she owned all the liquor licenses. Like, she had amassed them over years, but some of these liquor licenses in Texas will sell for $250,000, $350,000, that type of thing, like per license, as opposed to like, hey man, I'm going to open a bar. Like, how do I get a liquor license? Fill out Form A, and then you're good to go. That's how Missouri is. Like, if you want a handle of Jack, you can go to the gas station here, and there's cold beer, and they sell it till 2:30 in the morning. Like,
that's like New York State.
Not. Yeah, it's not as lax as, say, New Orleans, where they like encourage you to drive drunk, but like it's pretty close.
Well, what's crazy is it seems like a liquor license should be something like you do a test, like you go into the state place and you have to make a Moscow Mule and a Bloody Mary and, blind taste test a Coors Light and tell them which one it is. And they're like, here you go, sir, $300. And, but not here. You have to literally get it passed down from somebody else. And then what's weird is like the grocery stores are starting to buy up liquor licenses, and the mini marts are buying up liquor license. We're going to have no bars. We're going to be sitting eating gas station hot dogs, drinking our beers. Like, we will have no bars left.
I will illegally mail you as much Captain and Natty or whatever the hell you two drink these days.
Well, what's funny is we go camping up in New York State, and it's like you said, you can just go into a gas station and get a case of beer. It's like,
well, it's getting there around here, like Sheets and stuff like that.
But you can't. What's fucked up in Pennsylvania is you can't go into a gas station to buy a case of beer. You can only get a 12-pack.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's odd. Like Indiana, you couldn't buy beer, any alcohol on Sunday until just this last year. So 2020 for people in Indiana didn't suck so bad. Like, now they can buy beer on Sunday. Same thing in Georgia not that long ago as well. It's interesting that of like my most Googled results probably in my phone is like liquor laws in X state with the amount that I travel. So like, I need to go buy like a 6-pack or something like that. And it's like, I don't want to look like a dickhead walking into a 7-Eleven and be like, hey man, where's the beer cave? And they're like, what?
Burn this guy at the stake.
Exactly.
It's Sunday.
He's a witch.
Yes. One time coming back from Shides, I broke down on a Sunday, and I pulled into this. I was just into Ohio. I'm like,
please tell me it was the ham year.
No, that was a different year.
Oh damn. Okay.
And that was a good year though.
It's a great year.
So we wheel into this gas station. It's like noon on a Sunday, and we're stuck there till Monday when someplace open we can get parts. So I go in, I'm like, fuck it, let's drink. We're gonna be here all day, let's get some beer, let's fuck it. So we go in, and I walk over to the beer cooler, I grab a 12-pack of beer out, and the guy's like, you can't take that. And I'm like, what? Like,
I can pay for it.
Got it, I got money. Like, and he's like, it's Sunday. And I'm like, okay. He's like, we're not allowed to sell beer until Monday morning at 8 a.m. or some shit. I'm like, what? Who came up with these crazy-ass laws?
It's you like Utah is an interesting one. Like if you want to have a second alcoholic drink, you have to have food. So like if you don't have some sort of food in front of you, so like a lot of bars or
That was
restaurants.
pre-COVID. That was a rule.
Oh yeah. This has always been the way Utah is. If you sit down, it's like, yeah, Jack and Coke. Finish it and be like, hey man, can I get another? And they say you cannot until you order food.
What?
Until you order chips and salsa, and they can continue to serve you.
We live in the dumbest times ever.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, we for whatever reason choose to live in the dumbest states ever. There are places where there's no sales tax, like Houston. Right. Ryan Houston, my business partner, we're R&R Brand Management. I'm sure you do some fill in later. There's no sales tax. Like you go to Starbucks and something costs $2.50. You're like, oh, I'll take a whatever frappe milkshake thing. They're like $2.50. It's the most unnerving thing ever. You're always kind of like trying to be a math wizard whenever You're like, well, this is $1.99. It should be about $2.07 by the time it all shakes out, or $2.15, and it just doesn't exist. So like, I've got a friend who he's a little wealthier than I am. So all of the helicopters he owns, he's registered in the state of Montana. So, because whenever you purchase it, it's just like a vehicle, you have to pay sales tax, so that ridiculous bill doesn't exist for him,
When your sales tax
maybe
says
that's
commas,
why he's wealthy.
He's probably smarter than I am. Again, the lights on the house, bad with money. I'm pretty sure that we've firmly established that my family's financial future is in question.
No, because you're going to become the mayor.
Well, you're gonna get that $200.
And I'll get the $200.
Yeah.
So you're
This is financial planning at its
finest. You're gonna get $195 because you're gonna send me a 3.5 cable.
Oh yeah.
Done.
So
that's
done. Right. It's a done deal.
So why don't you tell us what you do for a living, Ryan?
What's your name?
My name's Ryan Gelinas.
I'm gonna go pee while you do this. So talk to Pam.
Oh jeez.
Perfect, Pammy. So this is what I do. I started a long time ago doing sales in the automotive industry, and so that kind of blossomed into working with multiple manufacturers. Not to get into too granular with it. Basically, me and my business partner Ryan Houston have a company called R&R Brand Management. We look after a handful of companies, and we do all their outside sales. WD relations, wholesale distributor relations. We do all of their trade shows. You go visit dealers that sell their parts. And again, most of it's in the aftermarket automotive. So transmissions, turbos. I mentioned Lenny earlier. He makes injectors for diesel trucks and pumps and things like that. And then we also have like wheels, for your vehicle. A lot of the stuff is kind of diesel heavy, which is how I met John. John was one of the guys, obviously selling my wares and goods, and I've come up there to visit, his shop for Christmas parties and Valentine's Day randomly.
Randomly, yes.
Yeah, which is great now that he's not in the room. Like, how did you feel about the fact that he took me to Valentine's Day dinner and, like, ditched you?
Honestly,
I heard this is what he laid on me. He said, well, Pam has to babysit some other couple's kids anyway tonight, so it's cool.
It's cool.
Rotten.
It's just a lie. Yeah. Well, we've been married for 23 years, so I'm kind of used to his bullshit.
What?
He's back. He's back. Shh.
I feel like I missed. This has taken a turn that I wasn't expecting.
Nope, not at all. He was telling us about his career.
Yep.
Carry on.
They are fully up to date on what I do and how I know you.
Yes.
And then we were starting to go down some sort of tangent, and you came back. You pee very quickly.
Yeah, I've got
a strong stream.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah,
very
that's
nice.
good. Good for you.
We've been friends for a long time.
So the year that Bean brought the bus to Shide, which again for the lay people, Shide is a great
extravaganza.
show. It's an extravaganza, actually. They don't even call it a show or a festival. It's a fucking extravaganza. And Bean owns a shop similar to what John had at the time, and bought like a short bus with a little 7.3 in it, fixed it up. Actually, I don't think he bought it. I think one of his employees did.
Yeah, it was Jake, whatever that guy's
Jack.
name. Jack.
Jack.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he got comfortable with one of your employees at one point.
Yep. I heard about
A lot
that
of
same,
people did.
That same trip when we broke down and couldn't get beer. That's all I heard about was Jack's member.
Oh, it was that
back.
trip. Okay. That was campground year. Okay, I remember that. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, long story short for your listeners, obviously you know the story. John was hanging off this said short bus with like one of those inserts you would put into a receiver hitch to like put a dead deer on. Basically talking shit on a megaphone, and I was there with I was working for a different company at the time. I was there with like the owner's kid, and I was like, I don't know that guy, but I'm gonna go figure out who he is, that type of thing. And then I had seen some other work colleagues like on the roof of said bus, and I was like, hey, there's those guys, and I met John that way. But yeah, I mean, it was the point of this whole like show. They did like sled pulling and drag racing. It's a wonderful show, well put together by the Shy team. But once everybody leaves the campground, it turns into like
I've
a
never
riot.
seen anything like it.
Neither have I. Like I remember looking up YouTube videos, and I've never been so amped for a show. And you know when you get like really excited for a movie, you watch like a bunch of previews, and then you go watch it, and you're like, I've seen this movie. Fuck, dude, the YouTube videos just didn't do it justice. Like you got there, you're like, it's better than captured on shitty, grainy cell phone footage. Weird, but yeah, it's such a fun time. But they do burnouts in parking lots, and
they basically just take over a mall. Like the whole parking lot of the mall is from one side to the other is trucks, and then there's like a path, like a snake path through all the people and trucks. They pull into the parking spots. And then people drive through it, and if you don't have a bus, you have to do a burnout like every 35 seconds. So there's just dudes in trucks with their bed full of guys and chicks, and they're doing burnouts, and guys are holding the sides of the trucks so that the doesn't slide into other people. It is fucking chaos. There's like a DJ set up in the middle of it, 2 or 3 sometimes. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Every redneck takes their gooseneck hitch and somehow fabricates a pole into it for whatever reason. Like, who knows? Probably just to hang a flag or something.
Yeah, of course.
There's lots of beads. John, can I share my 2 favorite Shide memories with you right now? You too, Pam. One of them involves John. I think the other one, I think John was there. But it all happened on the same night. So we had like found this like secondary location. Because Shy was always this way. It was like pandemonium. They literally brought in, I believe it was Homeland Security. Yeah, it was Homeland Security for them to train on how to deal with large unruly crowds. By the end of the show, they had like flipped all of the Homeland Securities like side by sides that were on the fairground, gotten these guys to start doing like burnouts. There's like videos of like Homeland Security guys being like super hammered. Like rednecks are very persuasive.
What's funny about it is
because they're usually nice.
When you go into the parking lot, it's a sea of corn-fed white dudes that are all like farmers driving diesel trucks. So it's like fantastic. Nobody you want to fight with. Like everybody there looks like they could kill you.
Mm-hmm. I remember seeing a Homeland Security guy trying to get away from 2 rednecks as they lifted the back of his ATV up, and he didn't know how to put it in 4-wheel drive, and it's just spinning tires. Like, where are you gonna go? It was hilarious. like zero. They did not care. I mean, they brought a helicopter. They had a helicopter. They could have done like cool helicopter stuff, and they did nothing. But anyway, this was like after the Burlington Coat Factory got done. If anybody is still listening. If you YouTube Burlington Coat Factory, Shide, SVX, any of that kind of stuff, you can watch some of the old videos when like times are good. There was literally a liquor store in the parking lot, and like that guy was heartbroken when like the city said like, yeah, no more of this shenanigans. Like they've really cracked down on it. They actually moved it to a rural location this year, not because of COVID, but I'm pretty sure because the town's just like, yeah, fuck this.
No more.
Exactly. So my favorite memory is like the first year we didn't have Burlington, maybe a year after that. One big store. So like there was we were kind of like on this lower parking lot, and the highway was a little bit higher, and there were fire trucks and policemen all stationed along like the sideway, just watching us be belligerent children. And there were so many burnouts so close to a Hobby Lobby or something, some big box store, that it literally set off the smoke alarm, like because the smoke got into there, right? And so all the first responders did is the fire truck politely like drove down there, guy unlocked the door, turned the fire alarm off, locked the door again, drove back to the side of the road. Like we're like, oh, we're definitely getting shut down now. We're setting off fire alarms. They're like, no, just let it burn out, right? Like treating it like the Chaz riots in Portland or Seattle or whatever it is. So anyway, but my favorite moment was we had the bus, and the big thing, you had to have some upper body strength if you wanted to do this, was we get on the roof of the bus, it just through the emergency exit. I'm sorry, if you weigh 300 pounds and like you got to escape out of that thing for like whatever reason, you're fucked. Like you got to like hoist yourself.
And you had to do like a weird transition where you put your hands above your head, and then you pulled up and your elbows would go out, but your elbows were then too wide to go through the opening. So there was like some weird maneuver you had to do that always hurt your armpits.
Why didn't they ever just have a step stool?
Because we're assholes.
Oh.
There's beanbag. There was sofas drilled like to the floor or screwed to the floor.
I'm going to give you
not
the
a
reason,
sophisticated situation.
I'm going to give you the reason why there was never a step stool to get up there. Because then chicks would need help to get up there. Because that was the thing. You'd always try and get chicks to get on the top. And then they would always need help. So there was always assigned helpers. Usually Jack or one of his guys that worked with him that helped all the girls get
just
to
get
the top.
a cheap thrill, you assholes. You couldn't have a step
It wasn't
stool?
me. It wasn't me. I was a gentleman. I was on the top.
There may or may not have been a lot of butt fondling with that. So, like, here, I'll just find your best leverage point to get you through this whole...
Right.
Anyway,
let me grab your breast and help you out.
All right?
Sorry, go ahead.
So anyway, we're on the top of the bus, and I mean, there's a lot of great stories, like Chris Waite, like fixing the fender with his meatheadness and all this kind of stuff. Well, anyway, the bus ends up parking next to this little white car, and this little white car has a sticker on it that says U.S. Department of Defense. And anyway, it's like me and John, we're all up there, and we're all hanging out, having a great time. And then I don't know who first did it, but they basically just started daring people to jump from the bus onto the roof of this little white, like it was like a Geo Metro. It was like the biggest pile of crap on the plane. It was not a nice vehicle. Anyway, the roof got caved in all the way to the headrest, like windshield busted, all this kind of stuff. We're like, who brought the fucking gasser to the diesel party? Like very like douchey diesel people would do. And so the car's destroyed. I mean, it still runs. But what we didn't know is this fucking guy was like there. Like we just thought it was like some idiot that left his car in this parking lot that we're trying to destroy and leave 400,000 beer cans in. And he comes back out, sees that the roof of his car is absolutely concaved in, gets his door open, starts punching the roof up so he can like have headroom type of thing, rolls his window down, and then just goes, woo!
Oh my God.
Like he didn't give a shit. It was not, like I lost my mind. I'm like, this guy is gonna call the cops.
Yes.
Like it says Department of Defense on his thing. Like he probably knows some people. No, they just absolutely children destroyed that car, and it never a nary anything about it after the fact. It was great.
I think there's actually a video of that.
Yes.
In the archives.
Yeah, keeping that for a rainy day.
Oh, good times.
Way to keep evidence.
Absolutely. I may or may not have encouraged somebody to jump while I held out like I was a dad. You know, like when a kid would jump into a swimming pool, and then that person jumped over my head on top of the roof of the car. Like it was good. It was a good time.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember much of that.
It was hazy.
It was good times. There was that. They don't do any of that anymore, though. It's completely locked down. Well, they moved, so.
Well, and I'll tell you this: you guys didn't come to the last one. The last one was OG Shied, man.
Really?
Yeah, like there was girls crying in the parking lot. There were bros fighting with flat bills. There was
Nice.
burnouts. This year I decided to camp because it's kind of rural and they didn't have a lot of hotels nearby. And you know,
It's way better
I
in a
was
campground.
I was gonna drink. But so I camped with another manufacturer. And we grilled and had a good time. And no, it was everything you expect out of a shide. I mean, it was a bazillion people. Funnily enough, I actually asked a few people while in the booth, you know, what are you guys here to see? You know, are you having a good time? And then I got this multiple times. They said, well, the Indiana State Fair was canceled. So we figured we'd come out to this so we could get fair food. Like they were so excited to get like corn on the cob, like deep
Hot
fried in
sausage,
butter.
yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All of it, like a 40-foot long corn dog or whatever. Yeah, I mean, they just wanted to come like do the outdoor fair, state fair. I mean, like our town fair here in Washington was canceled. That was like that's a big deal around here. I mean, it's sled pulls and they got the little supercross track that they do, and they still did the FFA stuff, so they still do like the pig judging and all that kind of junk. But yeah,
Well, you can't stop pig judging.
you
That's
can't stop
happening
it.
no matter what.
No pandemic is going to stop some pig judging.
No, absolutely not. So many good times.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I look forward to. I haven't traveled that much in the past couple of years, but I always look forward to like PRI.
Mm-hmm.
That's always my fave. And I'm bummed this year. I haven't seen you guys. I don't remember the last time I've seen all you guys.
Well, we were supposed to hook up at Beans, but the weather was an a-hole, and both of us kind of got grounded on that one. So
Yeah, the weather sucked, and then the truck I was going to drive, I was in between trucks, as they say. The motor went bad in my one truck that I was going to drive down there, and then it just wasn't going to work. And luckily, I didn't drive down there because I would have had that motor issue on the way down there.
I'm pretty sure every time you drive somewhere, you have some sort of issue.
Some sort of
Amen.
problem.
I mean, some of it has to do with you like putting nitrous into a Cadillac and blowing out the intake manifold. I mean, like whatever.
I feel like that intake manifold was ready to go anyways.
Uh-huh.
Oh man.
So where's the next place you're going? You doing a show anytime soon, or is it next spring?
Everything's probably going to be spring. ATS usually has a dyno day, but we're kind of operating as if we won't have it, and we'll do like a more intimate dealer thing. So that'll still probably happen in March. I'm sure you get a nice
Intimate,
TC invite in the mail.
Intimate.
I like using the word intimate. It just brings forth so many feelings. And then obviously we have the company Christmas parties, so I got to go see Lenny and do Lenny stuff in early January. I think the 9th, something like that. It's in my calendar somewhere. But we've rented a mansion in Hayden Lake. We have had, like, we tried renting a bus. This is how savage we can be. We've tried renting a bus so we can be good about, like, drinking and, like, getting everybody home, that kind of thing. That's not good enough. What we've decided to do is we've just rented a house that can house the entire staff and their family, and we're all just going to have a great party doing that, which I think is genius. It's great.
Yeah.
Like, nobody has to grab Ubers. Nobody has to be the DD, because it's always a bummer. Like, we rented a bus, but like one guy had to like be the sober guy.
Yeah.
It's like we should all be able to be the drunk guy. I'm not saying like all diesel companies are full of alcoholics, but most are. Yeah.
Well, the bad part about that whole DD thing is, because we do it with the ambulance every once in a while, is you're at the bar and you look over and the dude that's the driver is drinking a beer, and you're like,
Yeah, you're like,
hey,
squeeze me, baking powder.
You're supposed to. He's like, I'm just having one. And then by that time, you're so far ahead of him, you're like, fuck it. Like,
can we call DD the guy willing to get a DUI? Like, and just get past the bullshit.
Right.
Who's willing to get a DUI tonight? Who is not on probation right now from a previous DUI? Raise your hand.
Who's going to take one for the team?
Absolutely. Like, let's just cut through the bullshit.
I'm going to announce this, Ryan.
Okay.
For my 45th birthday, I was telling Pam this the other night, and she doesn't.
You're not 45.
I will
No,
be.
he's 44.
I will be.
Okay, fair enough. You're not gonna be 45.
I'm going to. I think I'm going to go on a tour of the country next summer, and I just want to buzz around. Like I'm going to leave. I want to go see Ryan in. I guess he lives by the Duttons from Yellowstone, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Somewhere
Well, I
up
mean,
there, and then,
it's all Bozeman, right? Like, it's not that big of a town, so.
and then swing over and venture up to see Lenny, and then I have a buddy I went to school with in California, and then swing back and catch a little Clint time, and maybe down through Texas, and Missouri's in there, and I think I want to do that.
Yeah, I think it would be well worth your time. I mean, you traveled a lot more when I first met you, and when I first really met you, wasn't necessarily Shide. It was actually PRI. We've talked about it enough, but we had
Florida PRI.
It was in Florida PRI. It was the very last year they actually had it in Florida. It was my very first PRI. Mm-hmm. We literally paid 2 rickshaw drivers to race each other, like the little bicycle guy. Yeah, it was a great time.
That was the Senior Frogs night too.
It was the Senior Frogs night too, and I still hadn't quite made full acquaintance with John, and I was like, "This guy's my people." So, but yeah,
that made you say he was your people?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, I like people that like to have a good time. Not too pretentious. Kind of do their thing. March to the beat of their own drum. Plus, Judd told me that, you got to meet John. This guy can drink. So I was like, okay, yeah, this guy's my guy. So anyway, it's nothing worse than hanging out with a bunch of people who are on a very different drinking schedule than you. Like, as far as amount, exuberance, and like how long, that type of thing. Like, you'll have let's have a bottle of red wine, and then you go back to the hotel and you're like, I need to go find a bar, that type of thing. And typically, then you'll have like the lightweights, so like, I can keep up with anybody, and then they're puking and you're holding their hair and all this kind of garbage. So like those are like the two extremes of like boring and like way too fun. When you find somebody that just falls right in the middle, man, that's your people. That's your fucking people. It's like a lifelong bond. And the thing is, the only way you can earn that trust, that level of trust, is to drink with someone. You know what I mean? Yeah, a wise man once said, drinking doesn't make anybody angry, it just makes them honest. So if you really want to tear somebody down to their core, gotta see them drunk. That's why you can't trust anybody who won't have a cocktail with you. Sorry.
Ooh, I like that.
I like it's a good life theory, I think. The other thing about those trips that we all go on occasionally is you have people that almost never drink, but they're on sort of vacation, so they're like, pew, 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 I'm drinking. And then all of a sudden you're like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
This guy's broken.
Yeah. Like this is not going to be good.
He is not trained for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think my favorite Ryan memory was we were in some place that had a beach. I don't even know which trip. And you and I sat on the beach that night and got schmammered.
Schmammered, yes.
In the rainstorm. That was the best night.
For some reason, I feel like you got into a hot tub with your jeans still on.
Yes.
That was the next night.
Yes, you did. No, that was that same night.
And Pam danced with Wesley, the most interpretive dance I've ever seen in my entire life. It was amazing. You guys, it's like you guys had been dancing with each other for years. It was fantastic. Like, we all just sat back and we're like, they're good. That was a good trip. It was a very good trip.
Good times.
Fun. Now we're all COVID sized. Like,
don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Can't help it.
I have plenty of friends that have gone to Mexico and done vacations. You just don't have the mass of people that are there. But here's what I will say is, if you would say dare to go to Mexico, like get the hell out of PA, go somewhere that's warm, they're open for business. You can go to any of those Amstar resorts and do a week there. It will probably have weeded out of the people that are in kind of like this fear lock right now over the deal, and you'll probably meet the coolest fucking people on the planet. Like the fuck it, we're going to Mexico people. You know what I mean?
If you go to Mexico right now and you find Americans, they're swingers. They don't give a fuck about nothing.
Or they're dying.
Yes.
It's their like last dying wish.
They have no inhibitions.
Right.
They're like, let's fucking party, guys.
Yeah.
Here's what I think we need to do. And I'm going to use code names here to not exactly name anybody. But a friend of ours has bought a house in a tropical area.
Okay.
I think we need to work this into something.
Is this friend from the north?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Well, and the place he bought is massive. Like it used to be like a multi-room business kind of a thing. Like I've seen pictures and all that kind of stuff, and he's gone down there several times through the pandemic to work on it and
I have already
the heck out of
negotiated
the ridiculous state he's in.
I have already negotiated how to stay for my pay, so you two are on your own.
Oh, wow. It's ridiculous.
I wish I was a woman.
No,
well,
not that.
They say the whole what is it, toxic masculinity or
Yes.
male privilege? It just doesn't exist. I'm sorry, it doesn't exist. This is example one.
I feel like that came out all wrong. My trade, my professional trade, will pay my way to.
Oh, okay.
Stay in
It doesn't sound good either.
What? No. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna paint. Okay, is that better?
All right.
Okay.
I just feel like we all need to have a get together, and what's weird. This is one of the things that is strange. So, I was trying to think of people to have on the podcast, and I've got a few people that are not like diesel industry folks, but I started messaging people that are my buddies, and so I sent Jesse a message and. I'm trying to think who else. Just the regulars.
Bean.
I don't know if Bean would do a podcast.
Oh, I forgot.
He's a shy fella.
He's a little introvert.
But Lenny and a few other people. And then I started thinking about, like, I don't want to talk to you guys about industry diesel stuff. I just want to talk about, like we did tonight, about Christmas lights and retarded things.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the best.
It is the best. I mean, here's the thing: is like we all do things for money. Obviously, Pam is like in the oldest profession ever. Apparently,
she's willing to go above the line.
According to her,
it
her
needs
new
no
vacation
advertising.
home she's just earned. But in the course of industry, you meet a lot of rad people, and the thing is just like you said on the start of this, I don't want to talk about work all day. Like, I'm already getting like the Monday scaries right now, where I'm gonna drink myself to sleep because I got too much crap to do in the morning. You know what I mean? Like, it's just it's cool that you can meet people, and the thing is like when we're at diesel events, whether it's Bean or you or Lenny or Clint or any of these guys, when we are put the tent down, all that kind of stuff. Do we talk about work? No, not even a little bit. You know,
only
like,
do when you have to.
You may a little bit. Like you take everybody out to dinner. How's business? You know, are you up? Are you down? Like what distributors like doing well? Which ones like sucking? And you just try and get a feel for the street. But you get that out of the way pretty quick. Right. And you get that out of the way during business hours too. And the thing is like what's been great about this industry is we've gotten to choose who we want to be friends with, which is absolutely not exclusive to our industry. But the amount of good people in our industry is dope. And I think that even like the thin margins and, ridiculous stuff you have to deal with the way we do business, we're a relatively young industry, that kind of a thing. I think people stay with it because the people who do it are good, genuine people. There's great relationships there, and I don't know. I enjoy my work, right? And the thing is we can all turn it off and go be normal people, but you find so many similarities in all the folks that you're doing business with, and that is a great blessing. That's been wonderful.
My favorite thing is the amount of stuff. Well, I was just thinking the other day. I haven't gone anywhere, and obviously the COVID shit. But every time I'm around you guys always turn me on to new things that there's no way I would discover on my own, whether it's music or a drink or a place or a movie or whatever it is. And because everybody kind of comes from their own little part of the country with their own little, I don't know what to say.
Idiosyncrasies type of thing. Yeah.
So you're out there and you're like, oh shit, I've never seen this before.
Well, and I think that's the joy of traveling. And I think anybody, if they really want to enhance their life, you don't have to backpack through fucking Europe because daddy paid for it or anything like that. But, like, just go do stuff. Yeah, it would be nice. But, I mean, even do something in your own town. Like, talk to people. Yeah, there's so many people who just, like, go to a bar, belly up, and don't even start a conversation with a stranger. Like, challenge yourself, talk to somebody. Don't, like, just stay inside your own world. Like, that's a really depressing place to be because it's going to be full of insecurity. Anybody who stays that introspective is horribly insecure, and they're just not going to live a great life, you know? Lenny is the example of the exact opposite of that. He's literally every bit just not that guy. He will talk to anybody. Like, it'll be the guy with the clearly not homeless sign, and he'll want to get his life story. I'm like, Lenny, we need to leave Walmart. This is not for us.
You know what's
like,
funny?
I definitely pick and choose. Like, I'm not 100% open, but that guy's 100% open. It's fun.
You know what's funny about that is I feel like Lenny has made some transition more towards that in the time that I've known him.
He has 100%. Moving to Idaho helped him a lot. I mean, I am not going to share his dirty laundry because I'm not privy to say, but the guy has overcome
a lot
shit that I probably would have started a pistol over. Like it just, I mean, mostly in his business, and some in his personal life, and he's better for it and solid guy. The thing is, he's just very imaginative. Like he constantly just wants to do and continue to grow. Like a lot of people kind of get rutted in. That guy's not a routine rut-in guy. And that's cool about him. I think that's why we all enjoy him. You know, like John, you're a great storyteller. You know, you can capture a room really well, and we all have our strengths and weaknesses, that type of thing. But Lenny's a fun guy to hang around with.
He's hot, so that doesn't hurt. So just saying.
Jesus.
Just saying. I'm just saying.
Did you guys ever listen to Loveline back in the day where everybody just called in with their STDs? I'm just wondering. Asking for a friend. Adam Carolla? No? Nobody?
Yes. That's OG stuff there.
Just saying.
Oh, shit. What are you drinking there, sir? I hear the ice.
I'm drinking. I know. And I was like, I'm going to get a straw so I don't hear the ice.
No, it's perfect. I feel like that's what makes podcasts.
Here's the problem. Every time I hear, like, I'll listen to a Joe Rogan podcast, like, get up, I'm on the road, I'm heading down the road, you know, it's the morning, that type of thing, and he has a guest on, and we're like, oh, you got to try this whiskey, and I hear the ice clinking, and, like, again, everybody's going to clearly know I'm a raging alcoholic after this thing, but I'm like, margaritas at lunch doesn't sound too bad. I don't need to get that far today. Like I can make Wyoming in a 40-hour trip like tomorrow. Like I got this. So like I don't know when your listeners will be listening to this. So I was like, I don't need to do the ice clinking thing. I may trigger somebody at 9 a.m. and they're going to show up to work drunk. But it's bullet bourbon and a bunch of Diet Coke thrown on top of it because I'm a degenerate. But it's delicious.
Well, at least you got the diet. You care about your body.
Yeah.
I do. Right? It's like I'll die from, cirrhosis of the liver, but I'll be thin. It's good.
Perfect.
Done.
Well, my friend, I asked for an hour of your time, and we are at an hour and a half. And I feel like we'd go for another hour and a half.
You're such a giver.
Don't tell my wife this.
That's what...
No, it was great catching up with you guys. I love the podcast. The last time I listened to it, you had posted it so flippin' late. And I was like, I'm still going to listen to this. I stayed up till like 3 in the morning or something like that listening to it. I love it. No, you guys do a great job. You guys are great friends, and thank you for having me on. It's been good to catch up. I'm hoping this is pure entertainment value. If anybody's taken anything I've said to heart, just don't do it. It's not good.
Who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
I just like doing this. I don't know why. So last weekend somebody called me up and they're like, "Hey, I want to talk to you about your podcast." I was like, "Okay."
Are we in trouble?
And she's like, "Let's take this to the next level." And I'm like,
God.
Let's
You're
not.
Trying to sell me something.
And she was very nice and genuine. I'm not, knocking on it, but I'm like, I don't really want. I just want to talk to my friends and talk about stupid shit. I don't want to have the pressure of we have advertisers or any of that stuff. Like,
yeah,
let's not turn it into a thing.
Well, unfortunately, this whole podcast has basically been an inside joke, so your listeners probably turned off a long time ago.
Oh, maybe.
But it's been fun for me.
Well, all right, buddy. I think.
Well, you guys, yeah.
This is the time we play the sad music.
Well, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that you win your Christmas light contest.
Thank you. I'm really relying on that $200.
You're going to have to keep us posted.
I will, absolutely.
If you don't win, we will cry.
Well, you can't be our friend.
Well, you also won't get that cord if I don't win.
Oh, yeah. Shit.
Counting on that.
You better win.
All right, brother.
Thanks, buddy.
You guys have a good night.
Love
Thank
you, man.
You too.
Talk to you later.
Love you too.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.